How's it going, guys? It's Eclipse here, and today we are back with my highest ever damage vehicle that we managed to get a few, well, probably like 6 months ago, something like that. I think we dealt 19,000 total damage with the Object 477A, and with the changes that were made to the HE rounds that nerfed the armor of this vehicle, at least to some degree, whereby HE is what you want to use against this tank if you're playing anything that doesn't require you to hit those weak points, which are very, very minuscule on a tank like the Object 477A, which is the lower plate when you're cresting over a ridgeline, or simply managing to hit a minuscule little viewport on the front of the tank. It's what made it overpowered, is the fact that you couldn't really deal any damage if this thing actually got its frontal armor towards you. But with those changes, the HE can now do a lot more damage to a vehicle like this. And so if you're playing against an Object 477A MOLOT, then you're going to want to actually fire those rounds consistently at the upper plate. You can just fire those rounds and you'll deal anywhere from like a couple hundred to 300, maybe 400, depending on the alpha of your tank that you're playing against, which is what this tank is kind of all about, why it's a little bit annoying to come up against. But even with that, the problem is that this tank, yes, you may receive, you know, 300, 400 damage when someone hits you if they're firing that HE round, but you were dealing like 800 damage consistently back to the opponents that you're facing, which means for the majority of tanks, you are out DPMing them, even though they are using the HE rounds to try and pen you, which is what this tank really does do so well at. And not only have you got this main armament that, you know, takes a little while to reload. You can see here it's about 6.9 seconds to reload, but you're also dealing that damage, and you've got that minuscule little pea shooter that you can fire off at the same time, which allows you to get a ton of extra damage against those lightly armored vehicles, the pesky little weasels that try and come around. And combine that with a incredible top speed limit, it is insane. And so I'm going to showcase off 2 gameplays today. I want to talk about where we did this. We were playing with Ricky and Russ on his stream at the time, and I was just recording whilst we were playing because, you know, I don't know, it was late on an evening during the week. I'd finished work and I was like, you know what, I'll hop on and test it out. Definitely go check out Ricky's streams. I'm pretty sure he streams almost every single day on YouTube. If you don't already, really do recommend it. There's a ton of good moments in there. But in terms of my consistency with the vehicle, I think we had like 3 or 4 games where I did over 10k damage with this tank in a row, and then in total maybe 5 or 6 games where we dealt 10k damage. And I think we averaged over the course of all of those games about 10k, just about 10k, or just over 10k if we combine the assistance and the actual damage combined. So very, very consistent and good games. And even then, that was probably only due to the fact that we actually did have one bad game where I may have done like 4k damage or something like that. So that definitely brought it down a lot. But the consistency of a tank like this is incredible. And what makes it severely overpowered, even in its nerf state, there's not a lot of tanks bar, you know, some of the other vehicles that you can just sit there and feel like you are literally just overpowered. I mean, you basically have no weak points, and the only way people can deal damage to you is by firing HE at you, where they're not going to pen you with the HE, but they're just going to splash you for 300, 400 damage. If they have like, you know, 700 damage as their standard, and if they've got lower, they're going to deal less damage. If they're a missile launcher, they're not going to pen you from the front. It's kind of that sort of thing that makes this tank really, really ridiculous to play against. And so no other tank, in my opinion, has that much level of survivability with the amount of kind of damage output that this tank has, because the damage output is crazy. I mean, we've only hit, what, like 8 shells. We're up to 6k damage. We hit that final one on that guy just sniping from a hill. I mean, what sort of gameplay is this. It's so easy to do. We are getting shot at from the other side. One of them bounces off of those spaced armor plates that are on the front of the tank, and then you go. That's the first HE round comes in, deals just under 300 damage. Second round comes in, but that was into our side armor, so it actually penned. And this is the sort of thing that you can expect with the tank. I mean, what sort of tank can do this at all? And so damage to damage receive is about 7 to 1 in this game. And that's only because I stayed up there a bit too long. But I just feel like a tank, well, I mean, in the game that I played when we were playing and had the best game I've ever had on World of Tanks in terms of damage, but, you know, dependent on what you view as a relative damage to the World War II mode, I think I did about 11,000, something like that on World War II as my max damage. Whether that is better, I don't know. And certainly comparing this tank to the tank that I did the most damage in, which I think was a 57 heavy or something like that, something in that region. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, we've done over 10k in an artillery piece before, I'm pretty sure. But 8k so far, and the game is still far from over. You can see that we're just using the kind of true vision mechanics that is in the game, that you can see where enemy tanks are. You can see this guy's looking at us. Unfortunately, I tried to back up because our teammate gets taken out on the right, and although I wanted to stay there just that extra second to actually get a fully aimed shot off on the other guy, I didn't want to lose all my health to the right hand side, and we definitely don't know which one's over there. But we have got two other vehicles that are over here. They're probably going to make their way over. We knew where that guy was. He fires a HE, and we managed to get one off into him. You can see here, we try and go for a shot. It's just whiffs up to the left of the reticle. I mean, it wasn't fully aimed, so we can't expect all too much. I'm not going to complain about when it doesn't hit when it's not fully aimed, but we're going for the kind of tank over there. It goes all the way up into the top right of the aiming circle. Once again, not fully aimed, so I can't complain too much. But yeah, definitely got shafted on a few of the rounds that we're firing, more so than normal in this game, and we still are nearly up to 10k already. But of course, that's not the end of the game. There's still more to be had, and you can see I was trying to help out Ricky and Russ on the other flank. There's this Leopard getting a hold down for them, and there you go, the round doesn't go where we're aiming quite, and so let's just reload again. He's over there still, we can see him, we're just waiting for him to back up, and there you go, first round into the Leopard 1, or Leopard 2 there even. He's still there, we can still see him. We're going to go for him again, just waiting to see him, and there we go. He's out of the game now, and we're up to nearly, well, nearly 10,500 damage with 2 enemies taken out. But I am fully aware that the people on the right hand side of me are probably going to start pushing up, and there they do. The MOLOT does push up. Now, this is another MOLOT, but he's on an extra bit of health than I am, so we're going to have to play this quite well if we want to be able to win it. The other enemy vehicle does get spotted. You can see here he turns his turret, but we just didn't have enough gun depression to fully look down into him. But he's using his little machine gun. We've got the other tank is also pushing up on the other side of this ridge here, and the MOLOT's looking like he wants to push around, so I'm a bit concerned about that. But what we do is we load the HE round, and there you go, 419 damage against the enemy MOLOT. He does nothing to me, and we are now just going to find that challenger. We actually pen him with the HE rounds of this tank. The enemy EE decides to YOLO over from behind us to get one shot off, and of course it ammo racks me, which is just perfect. We're going to put one again into the upper plate, 442 damage. This guy fires HE, but he goes for the tracks, which only does like 100 damage to me, and then we're just waiting now to get another shot off. The MOLOT's looking over here. I'm not going to poke over just yet. And now we're reloaded, we can go again. Unfortunately for me, we did only hit him for 100, because I'm pretty sure we hit the very front of the tank as opposed to the upper hull armor from the front. And so now he turns around, I'm going, you know what, this is the time. Can we get a pen on the rear of the 477? And not quite, but we do manage to do 400. Probably should have loaded an AP round there, but either way, we are up to 13.1 thousand damage in that game. You can see how easy it was. I mean, we really didn't do anything special, I'm not going to lie. And that is why a tank like this is just horrifically OP, even in its current like nerf state, although it didn't receive a direct nerf because the HE changes were made that affect the spaced armor of vehicles, how much damage you're dealing in Cold War. It definitely received a little debuff, but it isn't enough to make this tank it's not enough to make this tank weak, and it is definitely still one of the most competitive, one of the most OP vehicles in the World of Tanks console in its entirety. And so let's jump over into another game, see a little bit different style of gameplay rather than the sniping, but this was just the highest damage one that we had during the evening when I played it. So jumping into Westfield now, we see something a little bit different. This one is a weird map for the this vehicle in particular, because of the fact that although this tank is relatively fast when it comes to flat terrain, as soon as you start adding in an incline, the speed definitely drops off, but it's not slow by any means at all. It just doesn't quite compete with some of the other vehicles. You can see the heavies overtaking me here, but the speed of the tank, when you do get up to top speed, when you're going down hills and that sort of thing, you are going to be very, very quick. And even when you get onto that kind of medium incline, you can start really picking up speed. We're still on quite a steep incline here, and that's typically what Westfield is all about anyway. But what we'll do is make our way into the mid-ridge. We're playing with Ricky and Russ again here. This was during the evening that we were playing, and now you can start to see the top speed picking up to nearly 50 kilometers an hour. And what you can typically do with a tank like this is go down a hill, you'll start picking up the speed really, really quickly, and then you can continue that speed. Whereas if you are going on flat ground, it will take a lot longer to actually get up to that top speed. At the moment, we do get hit by the Leclerc there, but we're waiting to get a shot off. So there you go, into the TR85M1. He seems a little bit angry with me, so he decides that he's going to just keep pushing. We bounce off of the side from the McCarver here, and the TR is still coming at me. We're now reloaded again, and there you go. He dealt no damage to me and threw himself away. So not quite sure what that was, but it's you hit me first, so I need to throw my hit points away, all of them, rather than just make the correct decision. But hey ho, some players play like that. Maybe he has fun playing like that. But either way, what we'll do here is go for the tracks on the McCarver here. We've tracked him up in the air, and there you go. Someone hits him with a missile, I believe, from the Bradley. And we're up to 3k, well, nearly 3.1k, and about 1700 assists as well. Now, we crest fully over the ridgeline, and I go for a shot into the rear of the turret of the 477A. You can pen the side of the turret, if you can find that, but as soon as it starts to angle a little bit, it becomes a much harder shot to reliably do. But now we have a question. Do we push down into the object 477A? I go for the side of the turret. He was slightly angled there, so we must have hit the frontal bit, which is sloped anyway, a weird angle, and bounced off of him. The Leclerc here is kind of stopping me from pushing all the way over. I don't want to take 2 HE hits because, you know, that is going to be quite painful. But what I will do is push over to here against the K1, obviously doing the RBRT meta that is World of Tanks console at this point, to be able to hit the K1. This guy is now kind of set up there, so what I'm going to do is use the ridge to get a shot into him, hopefully. We do have a guy from behind, but he does get punished for doing so. And we've also got them pushing over to the right hand side. Not quite sure what this guy was doing, but maybe he took a step out of the guy earlier who did the exact same thing. And there goes the other K1. Once again, RBRT meta here. We start loading up the minigun here to try and get some damage, but now we're fully reloaded. We go for a shot, and of course it hits the very top, well, kind of very front of the top of the upper plate, which doesn't pen. and we try and go for a shot into the sidewall of the front drive wheel, I believe, or the front of the tracks. And unfortunately for me, it doesn't manage to pen, but we do pen that one. Now it's time to turn around against some of these opponents who are pushing over here. Ricky was asking for some help, so that's exactly what we're going to do. I track the guy as he comes over the ridge, so hopefully a teammate will get one more into him. And we go for the lower plate, but once again we hit the spaced kind of double buffer bit, so I'm pretty sure we penned through the space, but we didn't hit any armor behind, which is why we bounced. Going for a shot into this guy, we do pen him since there's no spaced armor on that. And now we are just trying to farm up as much damage as possible. The Leclerc there, put one into him, he's gone. We've got the EE over here, which we're hoping to go for. I go for a ram, not quite. Whether or not we can get one this game, not sure. Maybe we go after the STRV with another ram. And then, no, not quite. Ricky finishes him off in the T80U. And now it's time to use the mobility of the tank. You can see we are consistently going about 50, and as soon as you get down those slopes, here you go, 84 is what I saw as max, so 90 kilometers an hour right now, and we're going for the Bradley. Now, whether or not we'll be able to catch up to him, I just want to get one more shot into him. That would be perfect. The Bradley's running away. We are kind of the first one forward, and the Bradley is going to get caught by me. We can hopefully get one into him. I actually come into the sniper view. We load up the little pea shooter and we ram into him, which actually brings our damage just over 10k, and we also got about 13k assist as well. So combined, we were up at nearly 14,000 combined damage in that game, which is pretty darn decent. And of course 1500 base XP, so a very, very good game as well. I'm picking up 536,000 silver with a ×2 silver booster, no other boosters added on there. So, you know, one of the most consistent ways to earn money in my opinion as well. So yeah, you guys kind of get the gist when it comes to this vehicle. What are your opinions on the MOLOT? Is it actually as overpowered as it once was, or is it now just slightly less overpowered with the fact that people can now deal less damage than they should do if they pen you, and you're going to deal more damage back to them? What are your guys' opinions? And of course, I will see you in the next video coming soon, but I thought I'd rewatch and retry this one out for a video for you guys, and I'll see you there. Goodbye.